Welcome back to Evil's Comics. I am Evil Mike, and I would like to welcome you to Evil's Dungeons for another pickup of comics. Okay, enough of that. Hey everybody, I hope you're having a good Friday. I pick up some comics all the times. We all know we got problems. I got problems. Half price pickups. I picked them up yesterday when I was at my local comic book shop, and I didn't want to throw into that video, make it too long. My videos are kind of a little long. I don't think so, but you know, I try and stay around the 10-15 minute, but never works out. So real quickly, just going to show what I picked up. I've been trying to pick up anything X-Men. So I found issue number 12, a clean copy. I mean, of course, it's the stamped one, but I don't care. You know, I can always find the direct if I come across it. But I'm trying to pick up a lot of stuff that I had lost in the event. I see previous videos for story on the event. And back to this, anyways. So Weapon X number 1. One of the major events that I was able to read before in my life was the Age of Apocalypse event, and it was one of my favorites. I was a big X-Men fan back in the 90s. So this is my first rebuy of Age of Apocalypse, let's say. But so I picked up number 1 and number 2, and they're also the newsstand or direct editions, whatever you call them. I don't know. It's got the barcode. But also very clean copies. I was just happy to find them. I always love Wolverine, and I like this version of Wolverine. The fact that they made Cyclops a bad guy all those years later. I think currently he's a good guy, but a little before that he was a bad guy. I don't know. I found Wolverine number 87. Just a clean copy. I always loved this cover. It was a cover that I had before. I didn't have everything Wolverine, but I had a lot. I was more on the X-Men side of it, and I would pick up stuff Wolverine, but I don't think I ever read Wolverine consecutively all the way through. Okay, so recently, if y'all know, if y'all been following, I had the ban on Marvel, so with that ban, that means I missed out on a lot of reading, so I've been trying to pick up a lot of their past events, bigger ones, smaller ones, anything I can find. You know, everything Marvel's getting outrageous and expensive, but so I try and pick up what I can. I found Access number 1, and I don't think it's that big of a series because they had a ton of this number 1. But I was also able to pick up number 2. I could have picked up I think 1 through 4, and I always try and pick up at least 3 into the series, but I just went with 2. My pickups are usually $10 to $15, and that's kind of my budget that I try and do. I also do pickups 3-4 times a week, so I mean 15 times, gets a little pricey. I picked up War of the Realms number 1. It's just the regular cover, but I really like the cover. It's actually paper quality is probably some of the best I've seen with Marvel. But both these series I don't know anything about. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be reading some tie-ins that come before it. I don't know. But I picked up number 2. I've also always been Todd McFarlane's one of my favorite people. In my opinion right now, I think he would be next in line since Stan Lee passed, as far as creators and gods in the comic book world, Jack Kirby, those type of people. I think Todd McFarlane would be the next in line to succeed that reign, hence Todd Father. But I try and pick up anything I can, McFarlane in general. It's really hard. I would love to find some of his older, Spider-Man and Batman and stuff. And here in Houston, I just don't see it that often in dollar bins or at half price. Now, I could spend, a lot of this stuff I say I don't see, but usually I'm talking about in the wild. In the wild, I'm talking about dollar bins, half price, stuff like that. I see stuff on the walls all this time. Evil. Just don't spend wall money. Now, I do occasionally. I have broken, out and bought higher dollar books, but it's got to be an issue that I really want. But that's just me. So anyways, I've been trying to pick up everything Spawn. It was a series that I've always loved Spawn. I mean, Todd McFarlane. But I've always tried to support him over the years, and it's just a series for some reason I've never had a chance to really read. I've seen the animated, I've seen the movie. I talked to his wife on I wouldn't say like every 3 months I get like a random voice message from her, and I'll send her one back. I'm not saying, oh, I talk to famous people. No, she probably does this for a lot of people. But a lot of people mess with Todd and not really Wanda, and I kind of love the fact that Spawn carried over in his real life, like his wife's name is Wanda. For a couple of years, they had problems with their marriage, and she was on Facebook a lot, and I was one of those fans that was kind of talking to her and helping her go through it. And I've actually gotten a birthday, like random birthday message from Todd McFarlane because he remembers, like a couple of years ago when I did that for her. A little side story. Chip Zdarsky, he's new for me. I've read everything I can. A lot of people mention, Tom King or Chip Zdarsky, or and I'm really bad with names. It takes a while for me to register, hey, this is this guy's art, or that's these guys' stories, and it has to be consecutively, like Scott Snyder. It took a while before me to get his name and what his, the face to the name. A lot of these people, I don't even know what they look like. I don't think I've ever seen James Tinian IV. I don't think I've ever seen Chip Zdarsky. If you told me Chip Zdarsky was a woman, I'd believe you. I don't know. I know it's a guy, but that's kind of how that's my problem with names is, for one, I don't really look into that side of it unless, I'm really invested in it, and I know that's bad to say, but it's kind of just how my brain works. It's not like I'm doing it on purpose or anything. It's just, my brain's intelligent in a lot of other things, but for some reason when it comes to names, it's just, it doesn't stick. I don't know what it is. It's always been like that, though. And it's not like an age thing. There are signs of age that I have, but not that. So I picked up number 1 of Kaptara. I've never heard of it, but Chip Zdarsky. And I'm big into indies lately, so I was like, hey, why not? And it's the number 1. I also got number 2 in the series. I'd never heard of this, never seen it before, so I was like, hey, why not? I've seen this a bunch, and I've been looking for the number 1. I love the cover art. Honestly, I didn't even flip through the book to see if it was good art. I don't know anything about the story. Maybe I'll do, but Cry Havok, number 1. And a lot of the covers, they just speak to me in a way. They have like weird numbers, and I don't know, but I just really dug that with the wolf-looking beast type thing. Okay, side note, I've never been into the big, like, 3 sexy comic book women, like Vampirella, like Red Sonja, but you know who I'm talking about. Like, usually Dynamite covers, stuff like that. And it's not to say that they don't interest me. I'm a huge fan of the way Vampirella looks. I love Red Sonja. I've loved her ever since I've seen her from the movies with Conan. But there's just those big, I don't know, for some reason I always stayed away from the sexy, like if that's the only appeal the book had, I kind of stayed away from that. And for me, Vampirella and those kind of books, that's all that's going for it. Now, to be honest, I've never read a Vampirella book. I've never read like a, any of those sexy type of, Red Sonja. I have one Red Sonja book, and Gary, don't kill me, but I picked it up recently this year. Okay, and today is another monumentous thing, and that's why. Okay, so I got Shi. I've always loved the way Shi looks, and she's in that kind of sexy lady category. I don't know, there's something about Shi, like the way they did her makeup and stuff like that. But this was a number 1, and it's also a fan appreciation edition. I don't look up stuff. I don't, expect. I just see stuff, and I know Shi. I've known her since the 90s or whatever, and sadly, I've never bought a single comic from her. So I was like, hey, why not? Okay, Gary B, the casual comic guy. This is for you. My first ever Conan buy, and it's not a Marvel, because I do know that he originally comes from the Chimerian, I think is how you pronounce it. So I had found this, and it's his number one, and I think it's one of the stories out of I can look. And you probably know Gary, People of the Black Circle, and it's from the Chimerian. And this is an incentive cover. It says cover F. I mean, I got it for 50 cents. So Gary, let me know how I did. I mean, it's a really clean copy. I mean, there's like a pressed, spot up there. But other than that, I mean, I love white covers, and I didn't have any Conan. I'm a huge Conan fan. Conan the Barbarian, the soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks, Basil. If you've never heard it, man, it is great workout music. Last but not least, I half price in the comic book store right next to each other, so I ran in just to see, extra money, so I just ran in to see if I had missed anything, and sure enough I did. And I use lists and stuff like that, so I go back to make sure, but I had passed up Blue Flame because of money issues, and I just had, I mean, it was in a huge week. I think that week I picked up 30 books. So it was just one of those ones that I had to, fortunately, it was one of those ones that just didn't sell out. This is the cover I wanted at all the covers I looked at. I do follow what some people say, and I've talked about him a lot, but the guy who recommended this, yes, I do value his opinion very much, so I know it's going to be a good book because I saw his review, and he was the one that spec'd on it in the beginning. And I've heard the idea. I love the idea of it. It's kind of cool. So I was late to crossover because I was afraid I wouldn't understand what was going on, because I've been out of the loop on Image for years, sad to say, but so I picked up 1 and 2, and I ended up loving it. I love the fact that this could be a Gundam. I know that it's not a Gundam, but it's like close to it or something. I'm a huge Gundam fan, and that was kind of like one of the best cliffhangers ever, that could be a Gundam that shows up. So I picked up number 3. They have, I think, issues 4, 5, 6, and I'm gonna pick them up eventually, but they have so many of them that it's like when I see comics like that, I'm not worried that I'm gonna miss out on it. I'm worried about that when they only have 1 issue left, kind of thing. Like this Blue Flame, they still had like 30 at my LCS, and not just 1 cover. I think they had 3 that I could choose from, and a good amount from all 3. But that doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. If I wait too long, shoot, I do miss stuff, and there has been times where I was like, oh, there's a big stack of it, I'll come back, and I go back an hour later and it's gone. Another book that I was late to, and you talk about FOMO, like fear of missing out. It wasn't FOMO. This is like I didn't know about it and then I missed out type thing. I mean, I didn't even hear about this until it was in issue 13, I think. And it's not because I'm not in the know and this and that. It was just, I don't know, for some reason, like a lot was going on. I mean, we're talking about COVID, work, all kind of stuff. For some reason, somehow this went under my radar, and you're going to be like, what? But yeah, it went under my radar, so I've been picking up anything I can find from it because I do love the series, what I have read from it, and it does, deserve all the hype that is behind it. But so I picked up Something is Killing the Children, number 15. I only have this issue, number 16, and the 8th printing of the first issue. I didn't get into Something is Killing the Children until the 8th printing, of the first issue, because I had missed out. And y'all know, I mean, you're not going to find those early issues because, I mean, even, number 1's the most sought after, but shoot, as soon as I had heard about it, a little before, I think it was when Berserker, the foil cover came out with a coupon. And once that came out, I was like, I started looking up online, and Mike was going to do some eBay buys, and I bought eBay stuff. I do buy eBay stuff, but don't think I don't. But it was already just getting too pricey for me, especially for 1 book and stuff like that. So I've been trying to pick up anything I can. But I continue to go on with the series. So far, what I have read, I've loved. I mean, number 16 was right there on my list. If y'all don't know, there's the Enter the House of Slaughter is the free comic book day, one of the bigger ones that are coming out this year. So it's in August this year. It's something I'm looking forward to. Spec worthy, heck yeah. I mean, it's going to be the whole spin-off that is the Slaughterhouse. So we'll get to see a lot of different hunters and that kind of stuff. So that was my pickup from yesterday from Half Price Books, and a couple from my LCS. Let me know how I did. Gary, shout out. If y'all don't know Gary's channel, check him out. I love Gary. He does reviews. He shows a lot of his collection. He was in a hot seat last night. That was great. Some of y'all on YouTube, and I frequent in y'all's channels. I'm not gonna, I shout out a lot of people, and that's community wise. And these are people, parts of the community that I love, and there's parts of the community that I'm not a big fan of. I like spec stuff, but I'm not super huge into spec stuff. Like, honestly, I don't care. I mean, what sold, what didn't sell, that kind of stuff. I'm not into that side of comic books. I never have been. For me, all this is my treasure. I'm going to be buried with this. I don't know. That's everything. All right. I love y'all. I hope you know you're loved. You need somebody, reach out. I'm always here for you. Instagram. I don't know. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you real soon.